Action!
We're going to fight this illness together.
You don't know what's coming.
I met Eddie, and then I had no further need to really meet anybody else. I was totally convinced by his approach to the story, by his passion for it, and by his hunger as a young actor to do something that was extraordinarily difficult. He has an interesting physicality that actually connects him to the young Stephen Hawking. And then, of course, he had the enormous challenge of essentially internalizing 5 or 6 different stages of the illness.
I remember when James and I were first speaking on the phone before I'd actually got the part, he was saying, how would you approach it? And I said, how about approaching it the way they used to in Hollywood, which is you would have a team of people and that you work in concert with each other in full collaboration to make something. So Alex Reynolds, choreographer, Jan Sewell, amazing makeup artist, and Stephen Noble, the costume designer. When I was prepping for this part, one of the most riveting parts of it was going and meeting extraordinary specialists at Motor Neuron Clinic in London. And I would take photographs of Stephen and we would analyse them and we would work out how the disease manifested itself in him.
So what Jan's been doing is playing with proportion, with the ears in relation to the sort of cheekbones and through shading and adding prosthetics.
The next stage for me was I worked with this phenomenal dancer, choreographer called Alex Reynolds, and she and I worked out how to track the disease into my body.
He spent time with people who had Stephen's illness. He spent time with Stephen as well. And what Eddie had to do with his movement coach and his voice coach was to really understand and internalize these 4 different stages of illness, the able-bodied, on 1 stick, on 2 sticks, going into the wheelchair, losing his voice.
I was just so nervous about how you track those physicalities. But in some ways, everything about this job was so inspiring but terrifying that you had just to sort of leap. When I started filming, I wasn't thinking about what I could move or what I couldn't move, but I could just react to the actor I was working with. So that prep stage was pretty essential.
Stephen's illness is progressive. It mutates and gets worse and worse, and Eddie had to understand that. And what you then want as a filmmaker is for the emotional life of the character to emerge from the technical preparation. And that, I think, is Eddie's greatest achievement, was to get down so clearly and so specifically the disabilities that were required across the story, and then project this emotional life of Stephen out of that disability.
I thought Eddie Redmayne portrayed me very well. He spent time with ALS sufferers so he could be authentic. At times, I thought he was me.
Should we give Daddy a punch?
It's extraordinary, the detail of Eddie's performance. And every day on set, he would have an iPad with archive material. It was so, from head to toe, the hair, how the hair lies, the shape. And he obviously worked very closely with Jan, who is the makeup artist. And I think because of Eddie's incredible commitment, I had to up my game.
I know what you all think, that I don't look like a terribly strong person, but I love him.
I met Jane quite early on in preparation for playing her. She was just phenomenal. When she opened the door, she was like a ray of sunshine, very open, very warm. You can't believe what she went through. She wears it very lightly. I remember her just showing me all these slides. They were very personal images of her and Stephen. She said, I will tell you anything. She was fearless.
Jane was both understanding, often frustrated. It's not an easy thing to have a disabled husband and then 3 children to look after. And so Felicity worked on her physicality. She moves differently in different parts of the film. She becomes more burdened. And that was all something, we prepared and talked about as we were going into this.
I keep looking for a way to make this work, but I can't find it on my own.
Everything is fine. We're just a normal family.
We're not a normal family.
Felicity was absolutely superb. I was very impressed with Felicity.
Admiration.
It was as if I'd stepped through the looking glass, really. An amazing team of people who were just there, dedicated to making it happen.
It's a human interest story, success against the odds. It shows that disability can be no handicap. As I had said, I was impressed by Eddie's commitment. that reflects our struggle to bring up 3 children in normality, despite my disability.
When you're part of a film which is depicting people who are living, the stakes suddenly get like a level higher, but they were so generous. Jane, Jonathan, Lucy, Tim, and of course Stephen were so kind in their time and their support of us that emboldened us. That gave us the strength to do it, and we felt like we had their blessing.
However bad life may seem, there is always something you can do and succeed at. While there is life, there is hope.